Hello gamers, my name is Seated Gamer and today I'm trying something a little different. So, I like Magic the Gathering. You may have noticed that. I talk about it a little bit, not too much. And the spoiler season for the next set is rapidly approaching, as in tomorrow it starts. But Wizards like to spoil a couple of extras beforehand, just to get people sort of hyped up for the set. So I'm gonna go through some of these spoilers, and I'll keep doing this throughout the spoiler season, so the next 2 weeks. I'll probably put up a video a day, and we'll just go through these, see what's new, see if there's anything interesting. So I'm going to start off with we'll probably start it off with the Wastes. So Wastes is a new sort of basic land. You can see here, it's just full art basic land, as they do with the Battle for Zendikar. Like, all the Zendikar lands are full arts, so I think the Wastes are going to be the only basic lands in Oath of the Gatewatch. But yeah, they're pretty nice. This symbol, right in the bottom middle here, is the new symbol for colorless mana. So, I'll get onto that in a second with this next card, which is Kozilek the Great Distortion. You cast this creature, this legendary Eldrazi creature, for 8 generic mana and 2 colorless mana. So the difference is, generic mana, which is the number inside the circle there, can be paid for with any mana. Colorless, colored, doesn't matter, just as long as there is mana there. The colorless mana, which you can see the 2 symbols there, have to be paid for with colorless mana, and this is something that Wizards has never done before on any cards. Yeah, this is a new template for how they're doing it. You'll see it on some of the non-basic lands, or basically anything that produces exactly colorless mana. From now on, that is the symbol they're going to use if they reprint anything or something like that. Anyway, let's get on to what this card actually does. So it's a 12/12 for 10 mana. That's a big creature, but it's a lot of mana, so yeah, you can see why they've done it. It's also a mythic, so you're not going to find this very often. When you cast this card, if you have fewer than 7 cards in hand, you draw cards equal to the difference. So casting Kozilek will always refill your hand up to 7. It doesn't make you discard down to 7 either, which is pretty good. It also has Menace, which means it can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. So you can't just throw a measly little 1/1 in front of this guy and expect it to stop. No, you gotta throw 2 1/1s under this bus. Train. Tank? I don't know. What would you call a 12/12? A monster? The final lines of text on this card have discard a card with converted mana cost of X to counter target spell with converted mana cost X. That's the big thing. That is the big deal with Kozilek the Great Distortion. He turns all of your cards into counter spells without you having to pay mana to cast the counter spells. That is ridiculous. That is so ridiculous. Okay. So, yeah, free counterspell, well, not free, but basically free counterspells is a really big deal. In draft, that thing will be a monster, an absolute monster. Anyway, it also has a line of flavor text, a void is cryptic as reality itself. Because Kozilek is one of the 3 Eldrazi titans that we know of. I don't think they're going to introduce any more, but who knows. We have Ulamog, who was the big bad in the Battle for Zendikar storyline, Kozilek, who seems to be shaping up to be the big bad of the Oath of the Gatewatch storyline, and Emrakul, who we haven't seen in a while. So take that how you will. But yeah, that's all we have for Kozilek the Great Distortion. We will move on to the next thing that has been pre-spoiled for us, and that would be the Crush of Tentacles card, with a new ability, but I'll get to that in a second. It is 4 blue for a sorcery. Return all non-land permanents to their owner's hands. That's not bad. 6 mana for basically just resetting the board. They will have a chance to cast some of that stuff again, and you will have used most of your mana to do so, but in blue, you're probably fine with discarding a couple of cards if it means you can clear your opponent's board of most of their threats. And if they're going aggro, they probably won't be able to cast like more than 1 or 2 of the things that they've cast, which means they might have to discard some, and yeah. It's not bad, is what I'm saying. But it also has another cost. Surge for 3 blue, so it's one generic mana less. You may cast this spell for its surge cost if you or a teammate has cast another spell this turn. So what Wizards is trying to do with this is they're trying to push the two-headed giant format for the pre-releases and such. Big thing with this is also a mythic, I believe, from what I've seen. If you or your teammate has drafted a Crush of Tentacles, then basically, if that's the only card in your hand, if you're in single player, it's okay. It still does the thing. But if you're in a multiplayer game, then you can cast that for 1 colorless less, as long as they cast something beforehand. Probably not a creature, unless it has a sweet enter the battlefield ability that you want to trigger again. Who knows? The possibilities are, in fact, not endless, but there's a good amount of them. But the other thing with this surge cost is, if this card's surge cost was paid instead of its normal cost, you put an 8/8 blue octopus creature token onto the battlefield after you've returned all the non-land permanents to their owner's hands. So that's basically pay 5 mana, get rid of all of your opponent's threats, you get a big 8/8 blue octopus. That just seems really good. And if you're playing two-headed giant, then it costs 1 less to do that, as long as you're... Let's say your teammate has cast a kill spell to kill one of your opponent's creatures that you did not want them casting again, or getting back to their hand, or whatever. You then cast Crush of Tentacles for 5 mana instead of 6. You get an octopus, and you and your teammate might be able to cast some of your creatures back onto the board, so you don't even have to discard them. So yeah, it's a pretty good card. We are going to move on though to the Goblin Dark-Dwellers. 3 red for a 4/4 goblin with menace. So 5 mana for a 4/4 with a bit of evasion. It's not bad, but it does have more to say. It has, when Goblin Dark-Dwellers enters the battlefield, you may cast target instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that card would be put into your graveyard this turn, exile it instead. That's pretty good. That is actually really good. I'm just thinking right now that if you had... This is going back a long way in Magic. If you had something like a Pulse of the Forge or Pulse of... There's a cycle of Pulse cards that have, if an opponent has some condition, then you put that back in your hand instead of the graveyard. Put it in your hand as it resolves instead, I think the wording is. But, yeah. So yeah, that's basically... You get one of your instant or sorcery cards in your graveyards, you can just cast that again for free. And if you're in red, you probably don't have a way of getting many cards back from your graveyard anyway. So that's just getting more value out of, say, a Lightning Strike or Touch of the Void. There we go. That's something that's relevant with this card. So you cast Touch of the Void, couple turns later, they bring out another threat. So, like, Hero of Goma Fader, I guess, would be a big one. You cast the Goblin Dark-Dwellers, you then recast your Touch of the Void, get rid of another of their big threats, and everything's pretty good with that. So yeah, we'll see how this goes with some of the other instants and sorcery cards in Oath of the Gatewatch, but I'm seeing good things in this card's future. So yeah, that is all I've got for the pre-spoiler season spoilers. We'll see how this goes. I'll see how the editing of this goes, but I should see you tomorrow with all of the cards that have been spoiled since now. These are only the cards that have officially been spoiled on Wizards' various official sites. There was a big leak. No one's sure if any of those are actually real. They seem pretty legitimate, but I'm not going to talk about them until they've been confirmed as real. So, I will see you tomorrow for, I guess, day 1 of the Oath of the Gatewatch spoiler season. See you then.